Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee's Sunday morning gathering. Whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. We know that there are many paths to God, and we recognize that they all end in oneness and in love, and we're grateful that you are sharing your path with us this morning. I'm Rev Pam Brandman, the Senior Minister here at the Center. It's my joy to welcome you and remind you that our Center's purpose is love. Our vision is embracing all and serving with love while awakening to the one. So we begin with our receptivity statement that you'll see on our screen. If you would read along with me. I am here by divine appointment. Something I am about to hear applies to my life. I am open, receptive, and willing to explore the possibilities. So we're doing things a little bit differently this morning because since most of our gathering is a mindfulness workshop, the room is in almost a circle, and things are a little different. If you're at home, you might want to get yourself set up so you've got a place that's at least 5 feet long and a little bit so you can walk slowly later when we get there. But you don't need to walk really far. But and also our music is going to be just some recorded meditation music by Suzi Lula. But with our practitioner this morning, starting us off as the practitioner of the day, Brenda Heldoorn. And Brenda is here. She was here yesterday, and she's always here in consciousness and joining us on Zoom. And she had a wonderful meditation this morning that about applying the science of mind and knowing that it's done unto us as we believe. And so it's this is a very powerful teaching that we have. So comes from lots of teachers like Jesus, and it's in the Bible and with Buddha and the Hindu chanting, and it incorporates all of this divine wisdom that comes from that one source. But for now, I'd like to welcome Brenda Heldoorn for this morning's special reading and invocation.
Good morning. This morning's special reading comes from the book How God Changes Your Brain by Andrew Newberg, Dr. Andrew Newberg. And it's fascinating. In the book, Gus is a man who had never meditated before and came to the author's brain clinic with the goal of improving his memory. At the beginning of the study, the scientists had given Gus a baseline brain scan. Then he was given a 12-minute meditation exercise that he practiced every morning for 8 weeks, right after he got up. So, the amazing plasticity of the brain. Next, we asked Gus to perform his meditation in our lab. We again injected him with a tracer, as we had 8 weeks before, and we took another scan. We wanted to see if his brain responded differently to the meditation than when he first tried it, and we discovered that toward the end of the 12-minute practice there was decreased activity in the parietal lobe, a part of the cortex involved with constructing our sense of self. In our brain scan studies of nuns and Buddhists, we also found decreased activity in the parietal lobe. When this happens, one's sense of self begins to dissolve, allowing the person to feel unified with the object of contemplation or intention. For the nuns, their goal was to come closer to God. For the Buddhists, it was to experience pure consciousness and awareness. But for Gus, he became unified with his goal of improving memory. We don't fully understand the reason for it, but it appears that a loss of self-consciousness enhances one's intention to reach specific goals. A loss of one's sense of self also appears to improve one's ability to perform a variety of tasks with greater pleasure. In sports, it's called being in the zone, and in psychology, this state of optimal experience is called flow. Gus's scans showed that it takes less than 2 months to alter the overall neural functioning of the brain. This is amazing because it demonstrates that we have the power to consciously change our brains and improve our neural functioning. in far less time than scientists used to think. As noted in Chapter 1, we can see permanent changes in single neurons in a matter of days. And as other studies have shown, most forms of meditation will create subtle but significant changes in a couple of months. Will they be permanent? It's too early to tell concerning cognitive enhancement, but we know from our own studies that advanced meditators who have practiced for years show substantial differences in their brain when compared to non-meditators. These differences can even be seen when the person is not meditating, but again, we don't know if the brain would return to normal if the meditation practice were given up. It's probably similar to exercise. The more the better, but if you stop doing it, the benefits will fade away. So this is fascinating research into the physicality of what those of us in this community know on a deep spiritual level. So with that, I'll just invite you to take a breath and join me in prayer. We come together in consciousness. We come together in community, in love, in openness, and willingness. We willingly open our awareness to the one source, to first cause, to the oversoul. You may call it God, the universe, spirit, the field of infinite potentiality. All of these expressions are true and descriptive of the one power and the one presence. We are in its presence in this very moment. And so I recognize that in this very moment, this understanding of now, there is only one power. There is only one life, one intelligence, one love. And from this place of love, a new vista opens before us, where all things are possible. All potentialities await our attention, our intention, our acceptance, our recognition. So in this moment of now, I recognize oneness, wholeness, joy, and a deep, abiding peace. For each one participating today in our celebration, this wholeness, the peace, and the love fills each mind and each heart, and all are lifted and blessed, healed, comforted, and embraced by the one power, the one presence. And for this, I am eternally grateful. the very act of recognizing this power in our presence. The only response is gratitude and acceptance. And so I give thanks, and I release my word into the law, knowing that it always returns fulfilled. And together we say, and so it is.
Right. So this morning, we're having an experiential workshop. The room's in a circle, and so there's good, exciting things coming. And my topic is being in the flow. Brenda talked about that in the reading, and also a mindfulness meditation. Right. So what is it? What is meditation? What is mindfulness? Well, mindfulness is a type of meditation when you focus all of your attention on what you're sensing and feeling in the present moment without interpretation or judgment. It's just being fully present. Now, according to the Mayo Clinic, many clinical trials have demonstrated that meditation itself, all the various types, are an effective treatment for stress, for high blood pressure, anxiety, pain, insomnia, depression, possibly even asthma or fibromyalgia. You know, there is an amazing connection between our brain and our physical experience, right? And so mindfulness is now used in medical, psychological, educational, and business settings. You know, there's all these types of applications. And the mindfulness has been an integral part of spiritual practices for centuries. Buddhism is a perfect example. You know, Buddhists begin their meditation training by focusing on a single object, like the candle or the breath, and then they call this samatha, or tranquility, right? And then once they reach that state, then the next step is to a deeper meditation called vipassana, or penetrative seeing. There's other pathways, but this is one of them. And this spiritual practice is essentially mindfulness. Now, in this week's inspirational message that's in the newsletter and on the website, I describe the Buddhist mindfulness practices in detail, and but in order to give everyone enough time to do all the experientials, you'll have to read that in the newsletter or on the website, or we'll talk about it some other time. But I encourage you to go ahead and read it. But for this morning, we'll focus on the experience, because that's really the best way to learn mindfulness. We can talk about it all we want, but that's mind candy. But it's that experience when you actually align the body and the brain. You know, the yoga practice. It's putting it into practice. And so we have in the book showing how meditation changes your brain. And this is it's written by Andrew Newberg, who's a physician who's done a lot of experiments. He's at a teaching hospital back east. And then Mark Robert Waldman is a professor at Loyola Marymount, and he was our professor for Michael and I when we were in school on spirituality and the brain. So there's a lot of research, and there's more books, and there is updated all the time. And all of this stuff is documented and researched. There's all these clinical trials. One reason people talk about mindfulness so much is that there are all of these clinical trials which are published, peer-reviewed, and meet that standard of scientific rigor that the scientists demand. That we're closing in spirituality and science because they really are from that one source, right? And a lot of the spiritual leaders have learned it from experientially and from their meditation practice. So it's there, but there's different ways to get to that knowingness. And so mindfulness is one of the great ways that we can access it. So as they wrote their book, they distilled a lot of these spiritual practices down into a set of simple exercises that enhance the neural functioning of the brain. Now, these exercises improve our physical, our emotional, and our cognitive health. Meditation could have a very powerful effect on your life by boosting the responsiveness of your immune system, by sharpening your memory and thinking processes, slowing down the aging process, we all want to hear that, and enriching the quality of your relationships through enhancing empathy and compassion. So these two researchers, among many worldwide now, have used brain scans and other research methods to explore the many ways that meditation changes both the current and long-term brain functioning and physiology. Right? So as described in the reading this morning, the patient named Gus, he experienced measurable changes in his neural functioning after meditating for just 12 minutes a day for 8 weeks. He'd never meditated before. He was not the kind of guy that you would ever expect to meditate. He was a guy that worked in the trades, and and he was pretty kind of a gruff guy. You'd expect him to sit there with a beer more than you would expect him to sit there meditating. But it works for everyone because this is how our brains are wired, right? And so so with all of these applications about in the if you strip away the spiritual part of it, there's this secularized version that in medical applications that Dr. Newberg and Mark Walbin have studied. But they've also shown that meditating on the positive aspects of God provides further benefits to our brain. What we focus on comes about, right? And so in the prefrontal lobe and the parietal lobe, this is one thing. When you meditate for 45 minutes, there is something that happens that the parietal lobe is the part that sets our sense of self, our boundary of who we are, right? It's kind of sets the ego. What is our influence on the world? And after about 45 minutes of meditation, that just kind of melts away. And people go into this sense of oneness. And when you do it often enough, that sense of self melts into oneness all the time. And people can walk around with this sense of knowing they're in the divine presence at all times, knowing that they're one with God, knowing that there is this unity that is the truth of who we are, seeing beyond that what seems like reality and physical. This spiritual reality of oneness becomes as real as that physical one. Now, the thalamus is the part of the brain. It sits right at the top of our limbic brain, which is the old part of the brain. And it's the connection with the rest of the brain. So it's the kind of the grand central station that relays signals all around the brain. And so if this part of the brain stopped functioning, then you would probably have chaos. You would be comatose because you wouldn't be orchestrating the brain. And so in the brain scans of the Catholic nuns and the Buddhists who have practiced meditation for at least 15 years, the thalamus of their brain functions quite differently than the thalamus of the other people. And actually the size of their thalamus grows. And so by focusing on God consistently for so long, this is where they came to know that God is real and not just an idea, but it really real. And so when they were not meditating, they experienced God, tranquility, and unity had become an integral part of their lives. Practice makes perfect, perhaps, right? Exercising our brain just like we do our muscles. So there's another new discovery that about 2 years ago, until about 2 decades ago, brain neurologists thought that the brain developed for about 25 years, so you get your full adulthood, and then slowly deteriorates with age. Well, now there's a general agreement that the brains have amazing plasticity to allow humans to develop and change their brains throughout their lives, regardless of their age. I mean, I know one family where their daughter had a brain injury when she was about 21, diving into a pool, and they believed in this, and so they worked with her, and so the doctors had said, well, she'll never walk. Well, she walks. And she's lives in a group setting, but she's able to hold down a job and have relationships. All of that plasticity of her brain was restored, right? So this is also why mindfulness meditations is one of the proven ways to delay the mental aging process. It can bring clarity and focus and calming. And Michael, I forgot to get the chime out of my office. Would you mind getting it for me? And so we have And so, I mean, as an application, for instance, let's say you're stuck in a traffic jam. That happens frequently here with all of the construction here in Tahoe this summer, and the last one, and the last one. And and so when you're sitting there, rather than, if you're focusing on being angry and how awful this is, well, you're going to get really angry. But if we focus on forgiveness, then that calmness will calm our amygdala. Amygdala is the part of our brain that reacts, with fight or flight or freeze, right? And that's the oldest part of our brain. And so this calming wave can come from the meditation, from the forgiveness thoughts, knowing that we're all oneness, right? And the and another thing you can do is when you are in this deep meditation, it's like you can give yourself a post-hypnotic suggestion to return to this calm state of mind, right? Whenever you want. So it doesn't take quite so much time to come back. Like when I know when I first started meditating, it would take me a long time to get into that state of oneness. But now I have a trigger where I can put my 3 fingers together and I can, think of relax and going to that place of being home. You can't? Well, I guess we'll have to maybe you can get a glass or something. No. But, well, I can't tell you where it is, so, but anyway, don't worry. Yeah. It's on my shelf somewhere. So anyway, I guess we'll do it without the chime. But anyway, so let's look at how we meditate. So according to Newberg and Waldman, there's 3 main intercepting principles of meditation: intention, relaxation, and awareness. All right. So we start out with your intention refers to the goal that you want to manifest in your life. So as in the reading today, it was focusing on God, or it was focusing on this universal consciousness, or improving your memory, whatever the person is choosing, or whatever. Oh, yes. Yeah, I'll do it up here so I can do it with my mic, and it'll be good. Thank you so much. Yeah, this was a present when I was in school, so I love this guy. Okay. All right. So whether we're conscious of it or not, everything we do has an underlying intention. All right. So before you practice or do exercise or meditate, clarify your intention, and it will direct your brain to focus on what it is that you want to see. That's the reticular part of your brain that sees it. And our frontal lobes then can efficiently direct your motor cortex to activate those parts of your brain to carry out your intention as you actively engage with others in the world. There's, millions of ways that we could focus our intention, but when we pick one, our brain says, okay, and goes along with it, right? It's like tuning your radio into that station. Now, the next part then is relaxation. So relaxation is the second principle found in most contemplative practices. So when we had the yoga class that Charlotte Peters taught this week, so she started out, and we're doing shaking, just relaxing and just letting everything go of all the things you're thinking about, just being fully present, right? Relaxing the body as well. And so you begin this intention by this relaxation. And so today we're going to use breathing and yawning to achieve deep relaxation and awareness before beginning the mindfulness meditation exercise. All right. Now, the next part is awareness. Now, awareness is developed by focusing the mind and slowing down all that scattered brain chatter, monkey mind, that occurs so commonly when in our brains. And the focus then could be on a candle flame, could be on the breath, a mantra, maybe a single concept like God, or maybe peace or love or oneness. Whatever resonates with you that you would like to focus on. And so today we're going to prepare for that mindfulness meditation by focusing on the breath, by yawning, and using a chime. All right. So let's start with breathing. Now, breathing breathing awareness trains your mind to stay focused on a natural or essential body process, right? So by focusing up down your brain, you begin to slow down that mental busyness, right? Your thoughts become fewer, more integrated, and your body begins to relax. And so the limbic system, it's the oldest part of the brain. This is the emotional part of the brain that we talked about, the fight, flight, or freeze. And so the research shows that the breath-based meditation increases activity in that limbic system while activity in the frontal lobe decreases. So the frontal lobes are where that cognitive function takes place. So that thinking part slows down. Thoughts recede, but the emotional intensity increases. So that's the amygdala. But this is a positive emotion because that's our intention, right? And so slow breathing also increases our dopamine levels in different parts of the brain for the first 10 minutes of meditation, right? And that explains why it's such a pleasurable experience, why we want to do it again and again, right? So we'll experience this in a few minutes. And then yawning. Now, yawning is that, that means I'm sleepy. Well, yawning really is, Bob's got the idea. Yawning is a neuroregulating behavior which has been observed in the human fetus within 14 weeks in the womb. So babies yawn before they're even born. So never stifle a yawn because it's one of the best things you can do for yourself. It regulates the brain metabolism, including neurochemicals, and therefore consciousness. Yawning enhances our cognitive alertness and attention, and it regulates the body's circadian rhythm. Yawning is considered a primitive form of empathy, and that's why it's contagious. All right? Yawning, like smiling, increases feelings of social awareness and empathy in the precuneus area of the brain, which is within the parietal lobe. And the precuneus appears to play a central role in consciousness, self-reflection, and memory retrieval. So if you're going to take a test, yawn as you sit down and get your brain ready to go. Strengthening this part of the brain by yawning is essentially important to address age-related disease and attention deficit issues as well. So biochemically, yawning increases oxytocin levels in the hypothalamus and the hippocampus, right? So it's a sense of well-being. Conscious yawning generates a deep sense of relaxation, calmness, and alertness, enhancing self-reflective consciousness, and it's a key to any contemplative or spiritual practice if you choose to use it. Yawning will help reduce stress literally in just a matter of minutes, right? A particularly good application is to try yawning before dealing with any kind of difficult problem, especially perhaps relationship conflicts, that difficult conversation. We'll just do a little yawning before you get started. So now we come to a bell or a chime. One of the most important meditation devices that you can help focus every meditation is the sound of a bell or a chime. So when you hear the chime, close your eyes and listen as deeply as possible for that transitioning sound of the chime as it just fades off, right? We have to really listen when that happens. So when we practice this response, we create deep listening, and it teaches you to concentrate, right? You stop listening to everything else, and you're really listening to that chime sound. So now initially the sound of the bell stimulates your amygdala, and it can make you rather upset. Sometimes I get that reaction. But as that reaction fades, then you can train yourself to concentrate, a trained response, right? And so you can set a chime to go off every hour or even every 20 minutes with applications on your computer or in your phone. We talked about this in our Magic of the Soul class recently. But life is full of sudden sounds and interruptions. So just like the sound of the chime, these life interruptions can transform into a chance to breathe deeply and recenter. All right? Rather than fighting it, give yourself a new response. Each time you hear a chime or your cell phone, it's a reminder to stop in the middle of your thoughts, take a deep breath, bring yourself back into your body and into the present moment. It also reduces stress and boosts your immune system. All right. So now, with all of this in mind, we'll be ringing the chime at the transition to each exercise today. Are you ready to go? Okay. And so the musical background, when we get to the walking meditation today, will be original music by Suzi Lula. She is an amazing religious science practitioner and a musician. As a practitioner, she specializes in supporting parents and people who want to increase their self-care. As a musician, she's a classically trained pianist who has switched to composing meditation music and playing it for us today. So the music you will hear this morning is from her album called With an Open Heart. And it's one of my favorites, one of my go-to favorites. Okay, so now we begin with breathing. So pay attention to your breath. You may want to close your eyes, but it's not necessary. Breathe in slowly through your nose and notice the cool temperature of the air. Now slowly exhale through your nose. Notice the temperature as you breathe out. Is it warm? What does it feel like on your nostrils? Continue to breathe slowly in and out through your nose 3 or 4 times. Notice how the sensations change. Take nice, slow, deep breaths in and out. Try not to think about anything other than your breath. Notice how focusing on your breath affects your thoughts. Just notice each thought and feeling without judgment. Notice it, let it float by, and immediately return to your breath. Now shift your focus to your chest and feel how it rises and falls with each breath you take. Slowly breathe in to the count of 5. And then breathe out to the count of 5. Do this 3 or 4 times. And now return to normal breathing. Notice how your breathing changes and how it feels different. Are you breathing slower, more deeply, or more shallow? Now shift your attention to your abdomen. Take a deep breath to the count of 5 and watch how your chest and belly move. Which moves first? Does your belly expand when you breathe in or contract? Breathe out again to a count of 5. Take 3 or 4 more breaths and watch how it changes the movement in your abdomen and chest. Now return to your normal breathing and listen to the sounds in the room. Do they seem more intense? Notice how many sounds you can hear both inside and outside your body. Now return your awareness to your body. Does it feel more tense or more relaxed? Does it feel warmer or cooler? Are there any parts of your body that seem tense or uncomfortable? Just notice the tension. Take another deep breath through your nose. And as you breathe out out through that spot that is tense. Letting it relax. And now as we come to the end of this breathing exercise, open your eyes and slowly look around the room, smiling with a relaxed Mona Lisa smile. Turn your head slowly from one side to the other. Now slowly rise from your chair. And take a moment to see how you feel standing up. And consciously breathe in and out. And continue to be mindful of your breath as we transition to the yawning exercise. So now that we've had the experience of mindful breathing, I want you to compare how yawning affects your awareness, alertness, and body sensations. Stand in place with your eyes open, where your arms are kind of free. You might want to separate a little bit from each other. And you can sit, but standing will allow you to achieve a fuller inhalation. Right? And so begin by taking a deep breath and stretching your mouth wide open. And as you exhale, make a long sighing sound. Now don't worry if you don't feel like yawning or don't believe you can. Just use your memory and fake a series of yawns. Continue faking them and pause briefly after each yawn. By the fifth or sixth one, you'll feel a real one coming on. Continue until you reach 10 yawns. Pay close attention to what happens in your mouth, your throat, your chest and belly. And don't be surprised if your eyes start watering. Feel relaxed, fully present, and alert. And so now, we move into the walking mindfulness meditation. So the purpose is to bring awareness and relaxation into the world through action. So move behind your chair and face towards the middle of the room. Again, you might want to spread out a little bit. All right. So keep your eyes open and focus on your breathing, noticing the world around you, and yes, notice the world around you. This will create a sense of calm and balanced state of mind. We'll be experiencing the world more intensely, more richly, fully present. You know, you might want to try this later in a park or a neighborhood, back in your backyard, because the outdoors really enhances this experience, right? So what I'd like you to do first is we're going to just put your feet slightly apart, shoulder width apart, and just slowly shift your weight back and forth from one side to the other, keeping your foot on the ground. Left, and then right, back and forth. Notice what is happening to your knees, to your hips, to your shoulders, to your feet as the weight shifts from one to the other. And now lift your right heel only up about 1 or 2 inches slowly, and then down slowly. Your right foot only, up and down. Do this about 4 times. Notice how your weight shifts, how you balance. Do you want to keep your eyes open or closed? Now shift to your left foot. Lift the heel up 1 or 2 inches and then down slowly. 3 or 4 times. Is it different for your left foot than for your right? Now alternate lifting your left and right heels slowly. Up and down. Notice your balance. Are you swaying or staying in one place? Observe how your whole body is responding, how your feet feel as you exercise those muscles. Right. Now I want you to lift your right whole foot a few inches off the ground. You may want to hold on to the back of the chair. And then put it step in place. And when you do it, put your heel down first, and then the ball of your foot and your toes. And then pick up your left foot a few inches and put your foot down, heel first, and into the front of your foot. A soft gaze. Pick a place in front of you on the floor or straight out in front of you, and have a soft gaze, focusing on that. It will help you balance as you move from one foot to the other. Notice your hips. Are they swaying? Your knees. Move so slowly and deliberately. If any judgments come up, just let them go. Just observe how your body is moving. All right. Now turn to your right and take small, slow steps forward. Oh, about the size, a little bit longer than your foot. Very slowly. And breathe in, hold, and take 3 steps very slowly. And then breathe out. 3 steps. Breathe in again and take 3 steps. And breathe out. You can close your eyes or have a soft gaze in front of you. Now take 2 slow steps per breath. You can come across here. Or go maybe around that way. Yeah. And the 2 steps per breath. Continue to walk around the circle. Breathing in and out. Moving as slow as you can. Watch each foot as it articulates as you take each step. And you lift up to take the next step. Feel each part of your body as you move. Look around you with a relaxed, gentle smile. If any thoughts or judgments come up, let them go. Set them on a leaf that's floating down a bubbling stream. Now I want you to pause wherever you are. How are you feeling? What is your body experiencing now? What is your breath? And then turn around and then walking slowly, return to stand behind your chair where you started. And as you reach the place where you began, you can continue to stand or be seated as your body chooses to do. And close your eyes. Imagine yourself at one of your favorite places in nature. It could be a park, or your backyard. It could be walking by Lake Tahoe, your feet in the sand. It could be on a hiking trail. And you're one with the universe. So set an intention to go there. to practice this walking meditation, being fully present, sensing the presence of God, of the infinite invisible that is the life force within all of life, within nature, that unites us all as one, that expresses itself as each one of us. And so in this stillness, this sense of our bodies being part of that flow of life, of feeling that the breath, the prana, the chi flowing through our body, this is what it means to be fully alive, to know that all is well, to know that we are one with all, and it is all good. And we know that we can choose to focus on what uplifts us, of what is that higher intention, that highest intention for us in this life. And we let go of anything that would seem to block that view, because we know that it is just thoughts in the mind. They're not real. What is real is this life force underneath that is within us, that we are one. There is no separation. There is no place where God is not. It is in every single breath, every single cell, every movement is a part of the divine. And so we rejoice in our wholeness. We rejoice that this is the truth of each and every person on this planet. And so we see for them this truth, and we invite them to open up their minds and their hearts to see and accept this truth, to rise up to embrace the wholeness of who they are. And in this moment, we see and know that it is not only possible, it is the truth, ready to manifest as we accept it as the truth in our lives and throughout the world. And so we let go and let God. We release these words. We release this knowingness, this moment of seeing the truth. We release it to the law, which patiently and calmly and reliably says, yes, my beloved, yes, and manifests it beyond our wildest dreams. And it is so good. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. Thank you for this time to be together, to be present, to practice mindfulness, and to experience the presence of the divine. And slowly come back to the room. And what I'd like you to do is make a circle in the middle of the chairs. Come together. Yeah. And so we'll go around the circle clockwise. And what I'd like you to do is close your eyes and just think of one word that summarizes how you're feeling right now. And then when you say your word, put your right foot into the circle. All right. So my word is wholeness. And And for those of you joining us at home, speak your word out loud and be a part of this circle. Thank you all. Namaste. So there's a reason people like to meditate, right? Yeah. So we move back into our more typical part of our morning with our prosperity time. And if you were inspired by today's gathering, or please consider sharing your abundance with our spiritual community. Donations of your time, talent, and treasure are symbols of your support of our vision of embracing all and serving with love while awakening to the one. And we're extremely grateful when you show your gratitude for the difference that our center makes in your life and in the community. There's lots of ways to give. And what I'd like you to do is take your offering or your intention of your offering and hold it over your heart and read our prosperity affirmation with me. In everything I give thanks, I gratefully and joyfully share my offering, which flows from God, my infinite source. My gift blesses this center and all who are guided, healed, and empowered by its activities.
God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, God gives me everything I need.
God is. So, as we are here today, we know that God is our infinite source, and we are blessed beyond measure. We are grateful for these gifts that have been so graciously and generously given, and are grateful for as that generosity spills out into the world, rippling out in with peace and love and joy, understanding, bringing us, uniting us as one in all the goodness that is the divine intention for us and for the world. And so it is. All right. Okay, well, I want to thank anyone who's visiting here. I want to thank Bob McCormick. He's come all the way from Mexico to join us. And he'll be staying here for a while, so we're make sure you spend time with Bob today. He's only here for a few weeks. And he's got a big birthday coming up. Yeah. Yeah. Do you want a mic? I can give you that one, or shall we turn on? Do you want to? Yeah, just come up here.
It's good to be home. Boy, that was an emotional experience for me, that meditation. Wow. As I get older and living in Yalapa with cobblestone streets and trails and rocks to fall on, I've been falling victim to the idea that I'm getting too old to do anything new and have time to finish it. And I know the reason, but miraculously, one day I picked up a little prayer book from Creative Mind from 1999 that happened to be in a box that I'd had down in Mexico for 20 something years, and I'd forgotten all about it. I don't know why it showed up, but I needed it. Of course, it showed up because I needed it. And I turned it open to a page of a two-page article that was called "The Secret to Longevity." And oh my God, it was exactly what I needed to hear. It said, most of us cannot say that we want to live a long life because we fear that age has to do with senility, infirmity, old age if you live long. And the secret to living long is to embrace each day like you're going to live forever. And, God gave us dominion to complete all our tasks and didn't say between the ages of 20 and 50. And that, and it was just exactly what I needed to learn because I was forgetting all my lessons and getting lazy about my spiritual practice, I guess. I mean, every day I read my thing from 365 days. It's amazing. I've given away so many copies of that to friends, But lately I've been just feeling like, yeah, I'm 75. That's great. I'm going to live forever. So far, so good, And I read it every day before or after I read my daily meditation, and it's really shifting my brain. It's amazing. I just feel younger, and I've had a lot of physical issues, and I know it's all spiritual. I mean, I've been doing this stupid limp for about 3 years now because I fell on my hip and I started limping, and so I figured, oh gee, chiropractors told me you have a short leg, drop foot, and one day I thought, I didn't have an operation. Nobody took a bone out of my body. What the hell's going on here? It's my alignment. So I started going to a Rolfer and this body worker in Yelapa who's incredible but very painful. And I just been working on it. And by another little miracle on the way back, I had agreed to bring something to a client of mine and guest in an Airbnb way up in Marin County on the top of my truck, a giant slab of wood. And as I was going through San Rafael, I recalled that 45 years ago, a Reiki master in San Rafael had cured me of sciatica. And I looked in my contacts and his name was still there. And I called him. He'd had a stroke. He's not what he used to be, but he's a year younger than me actually, but looks 10 years older. And he's in Petaluma. So I went over to see him and he did a meditation with me and a treatment. And he gave me a silly little exercise to do every night, and I'm doing it. And I know that I am healed. I know that this limp's going to go away within weeks. It's just a matter of the process happening, and it's just miraculous. And this is exactly what I needed today to keep me doing that. And I'm just eternally grateful to Science of Mind. It's just it's amazing. I mean, down in Yelapa, I have a following. Actually, it's my ministry. I have young people come and see me every year and want to sit there and ask me for another one of my bumper stickers, or aphorisms. And it's just really made an amazing difference in my life. And I'm home now, and I'm going to be here a couple of weeks selling my house, and then I'm going to go to Portland and be with my kids. So I'll be back in August again, but I'll be here for a couple of weeks. But I just wanted to remind you to just keep doing it. And remember what Clint Eastwood said on his 91st birthday. Every day I get up and I don't let the old man in. Yeah, thank you. I love you all. It's really nice to be home.
Yeah. Thank you, Bob. So we have lots of thank yous as well. For Zoom hosting, Diana Misitz is there. She worked on the slides for us. Our practitioner of the day, Brenda Heldoorn. Come early for that meditation before the service because it's amazing. It's when you meditate in a group, there is this community that is different. It just heightens the experience, I think, for me. And our musician today, Suzi Lula, her great expertise goes into that background of that music. Hospitality today was Shirley Nelson with some assistance from Nancy O'Neill. And we had a great pop-up yoga class that Charlotte Peters put on this week on Thursday morning, and she's going to do it again. She's actually, it looks like she's going to be here all summer, so she's going to set up some more classes for us. So if you're interested, talk with her and let her know what a good time during the week might be for you. And so she's really excited. She's studying therapeutic yoga, so it was really appropriate for whatever level you were at. And if you need a chair, she's got chair yoga. So it's, whatever, if you could do the whole thing or something really modified, she's there for us. All right. Also, I want to, the big thank you this week is for the spring cleanup crew that was here. You probably noticed when you drove up this morning that our property looks amazing. it is fantastic. I think we've doubled the amount of parking that's available because there aren't so many pine needles there anymore. And we've done some pruning so you can see the sign and the building better. And so it's, when it shows a lot of love. And so Nancy O'Neill was there, Patricia Smelser, Adam was there, Michael Brandman, myself, Sue Pipel, her daughter, is it Hallie? Lauren, and her wife and their son were also there helping. Her son insisted that he wanted to help, and he was a good help. Right? Brenda Heldoorn came. She was accompanied by her son, AJ. We were so glad that he was there because he got into the dumpster, stomped it down, and he doubled the capacity of that, maybe tripled it by the time he was done. Amazing. So if you weren't able to make it, you'll have your chance because we have to do another cleanup. There's still pine needles over on this part of the property, and we've got some things that would not fit in the... Huh? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and Adam showed up with chainsaw and long clippers, and so that's one reason we still have some big branches that would not fit in the thing yet, so including our old Christmas tree. But anyway, we'll have another chance when we get empty this dumpster and get a new one. I don't know. Nancy will be scheduling it. Right, but the pine needles, but there's still pine needles that we need to. All right. Well, we'll have to schedule it before Bob leaves, okay? Make a note. All right. Okay, so for our announcements of the other new things happening, we do have hospitality afterwards. So please join us in the room. We're running a little long, but the food is patiently waiting for us. And if you're online, you can join people there on the Zoom. We have, it's a little hard to read those words. Can you read it from there? Maybe it's just my angle. Okay. So I am leaving starting tomorrow on a 5-week sabbatical. So sometime we're going to go visit my granddaughter who's graduating high school and take some time just to do as ministers want to do and say, okay, sit back, do a little meditating and say, what's next, Spirit? And get rejuvenated. And so, but while we're gone, we've got some great speakers lined up and great musicians. And so we have, I guess I need to read this. So on next Sunday is Reverend Liz Luoma. And the week after that is Barb Wally will be here. June 18th, Reverend Madeline Wade will be here. She's from Sierra, CSL, right, I think, in Grass Valley. June 25th, make sure you're here. This is Reverend Dr. Georgia Prescott is going to be here. She was the founding minister of the Center for Spiritual Awareness in Sacramento. And so she retired at the end of last year. And so she's getting a little, I think I'm about ready to speak again. So she said yes when I called her. So she's an amazing person. And then July 2nd, Reverend Angelica Schaefer will be here to be both our musician and speaker. And so that will be a great treat as well. Next week, along with Reverend Liz Luoma, she will be speaking on Mind for Matter. And our June theme is embracing self-care. So she's kicking it off. And our musician will be Super Doyle, great meditation music. And our practitioner is Nancy O'Neill. All right. Okay. Now, you can find out more about the center on the website, and there's also video recordings of this morning meditation. If you want to do it again, you can repeat it. You could do it every morning for 8 weeks and see what happens to your brain. And then we also, our weekly e-bikes groups are going, and so on this Tuesday, they're gonna do the Incline Lakefront Tour. It might get moved up earlier because of the rain. So make sure you check with Sue Pipel if you are to make sure what the actual meeting time is. So if you want to join that group, they'll be having lunch at Santa Harbor that day. Okay. We have then the SOAR retreat is coming up in August, the 8th through the 11th, and at Asilomar. So this is going to be a fantastic retreat. I think we've got 5 people so far I know that are going from our center. And the early bird deadline is June 16th. So make sure you save about $100, I think, by registering early. So that's a big deal. Adopt a Highway comes again the third Saturday, June 17th, starting at 9 o'clock. It says till 12, but usually we're done by 10 or 11, something like that. So depends on how much trash people throw out. But we had a great turnout for this last one. But we need more people always. Share the load. It's always good. Red Tent is also on Monday, June 19th. It follows the new moon, and so this is for women free gatherings. Brings a meal a dish to share, and some rituals in sharing. We do have 2 memorial services for 2 of our members that are coming up. And Nancy, since I'm going to be gone, Nancy would be the best source of knowing what the details are. On June 24th is Marty Mosher's celebration of life. It'll be at her house in Truckee. They wanted to, so you can see her beautiful garden that meant so much to her, and it's from 4 to 6 in the afternoon. They would like to have people RSVP so they know how many people to expect, and you're asked to bring an appetizer or a dessert to share. And then on July 15th, Reverend Alice Ross Smith, who was the founding minister of this, of the Center for Spiritual Living Tahoe-Truckee, she's passed away, and so her sister and the rest of their family is putting on a memorial service at the Donner Party picnic area up in Truckee, north of Truckee, actually, and that one is at 1 p.m. And so they're asking people to donate $20 towards the meal that they're having catered for that day, and so I'll be there, and I know hopefully Kathy Mattery and Carol Del Bon know her, and if you know anyone that might have known Alice, let them know. So we also have, and then the big announcement here is the Soul Sangha Retreat, Communing with Sacred Joy and Wisdom, and this is at Ananda, the Expanding Light Retreat Center, September 8th through the 10th, and Melissa and Z are going to be the facilitators and the musicians. And if you've heard them, they know that they're high energy, but they're also deep drop. They did a workshop for us before on applying science of mind to healing and body works. And Melissa Felipe, she is the one that wrote a lot of our chants that are so meaningful, like I am remembering who I am, and some other ones that are important. So anyway, that's going to be a great thing. Our early bird is through July 10th, but people are signing up. We're opening this up to the whole community. So Unity, CSL, friends, anyone that would benefit from this. $250 now will hold your spot. You get to pick your roommate. I know Serenity House is filling up first, so if you want to stay there, go ahead and register. All right, and you can register here in hospitality, or you can go online on the website and register as well. Okay, I think that is the yeah, so we've got our regular weekly ones. We have our children, which we're blessing, and so we'll quickly bless them. We see you, we hear you, we love you. You are a gift from God, and so it is. All right. And our practitioners, if you need a prayer today, please see our practitioner of the day, Brenda. Michael Brandman is here. I'm a practitioner. And Nancy, of course, Nancy. And Carol's online, I know. And I think that's all of us, right? Well, Donna's over at St. Patrick's, but okay. So, but anyway, and make a longer appointment. But anyway, let's join in our closing song and affirmation. And we'll just do this one time through, Diana.
one life. We are one family, one earth, one heart, one life. We are one family, one earth. And together we can make a difference in our world. Every creed and color, every boy and girl, all of creation, no separation. We are one heart.
And so our affirmation, I am fully present in the flow of life, and so it is. Namaste. Thank you all for coming.